Well, the crypto market is starting the month of August off in the red, with most cryptos being down anywhere from 5 to 10%. Now, as a result of this pullback and the news that we covered in yesterday's video, there is a ton of uncertainty in the market as crypto investors start to wonder what's going on. I mean, what's happening right now? Should we be buying? Should we be selling? What's going to happen next? I mean, there's so many questions just floating around. And in today's video, I'm going to try to bring as much clarity to those of you who watch my channel as possible. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think is happening in this market right now, exactly what I'm doing as a result of it, and what I'm expecting next. And just to give you a bit of a teaser, I got good news and I got bad news, and I'll break all that down for you today. But before we do get into it, guys, please don't forget that if you trade any of these cryptos in the top 10, top 15, top 100, you can start trading them over on BTCC today with my link down below and get up to $10,000 in bonuses. Guys, in a market like this, $10,000 could come in handy. And if you use my link down below, again, you can get up to $10,000 in bonuses and lower trading fees. And those of you who trade a lot, you know how valuable that can be. So check out that link down below. And without further ado, let's dive into exactly what is happening right now. So to give you a quick recap, the reason why the crypto market is pulling back is simply because of the uncertainty that has kind of popped up from the Fed meeting the other day. What we saw over the last couple of days was actually a lot of good U.S. economic data. Unemployment data came in pretty solid, core PCE data came in pretty solid, and all this implies to the Fed is that, well, interest rates must not be constraining the economy too much. They must not be slowing the economy down too much because the economy is showing signs of strength. So because of this, why do we need to rush going in and cutting rates? And the market didn't like it. The stock market, the crypto market, they didn't like it. They were like, dang, bro, like we've been looking forward to these rate cuts, this injection of liquidity, right? This much more risk on environment. And if the Fed's not going to cut rates, it's going to be harder for us to get to that point of, risk on liquidity and all of these things. And so what happened is many institutions, many investors, many traders, people started to sell. They started to take profits because they're like, dude, if this bull run is going to be delayed or this liquidity is going to be delayed, I'm just going to take some profits off the table right now. Why would I stick around and wait through this boring period where the Fed doesn't do anything to stimulate the economy? And so you start to see the stock market falling. You start to see crypto falling. And the stock market was in a bit of a better position because we did see very, very good earnings from a couple of important companies like Meta and Microsoft, but it started to pull back on its own because some other companies like Amazon, they had pretty bad earnings, to be honest. So as a result of all of this and, combining all of these things together, yeah, it puts you in a situation where risk on assets, especially cryptos, are going to start falling. And we covered this over in yesterday's video. I talked all about it. So feel free to go watch that video if you do want more information about it. But that's kind of why the crypto market is pulling back. But the bigger question is like, okay, what's happening during this pullback? I mean, are we dumping? Are we nuking? Are we just resetting? Is this just a cool down? What is actually happening in this pullback? And this is where I have good news and I have bad news. So I can show you better than I can tell you. So what we're looking at right now is the total market cap of the entire crypto market. So Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything in between. This is everything. And what we can see is that the total market cap of crypto actually made a very, very good move recently. What you can see is that the crypto market was capable of breaking through the Fibonacci golden zone, which you guys know is extremely important. It broke through the golden zone, cleared through the first take profit level, cleared through the second take profit level, broke all the way up to the third take profit level. I mean, we played this thing almost as perfectly as you can play it. Break the golden zone, take profit 1, 2, 3, out. Boom, just like that, right? But the problem is that as we hit this third take profit level, something started to change. We started to see the 4-hour RSI starting to dwindle, started to lose a little bit of strength. The same thing with the daily RSI, started to lose some strength and show signs of weakness, right? And as those signs of weakness got stronger and stronger, the crypto market started to turn. We got a bit of a pullback with recovery, but the truth is that recovery was nothing more than a dead cat bounce that has now left us down towards the downside. And those of you who know structural analysis, you can see clear as day that this has now formed what's called a double top. Now, double tops in the world of crypto are not good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend like they are. They're simply just not good. And the reason why they're not good, for those of you who just hold crypto, is because they have a very strong historical percentage at breaking downwards. And we're talking in the realm of 60 to 85%. It's hard to tell because there are different forms of double tops, all of which I'll talk about later on in another video one day. But just know that whenever a crypto does this, it creates a resistance point, it creates a support in between another resistance point that is equivalent to the previous one. This is called a double top. Some people call it an M top, but it's the same thing. And historically, when this happens, it's a sign/signal that some sort of bigger correction could be on the way. Now, you're probably wondering, wondering, well, how big could that correction be? Historical percentages show that when a double top is created, you need to take the distance from the top point of resistance to the bottom point of mid-level support, this MLS right here, and apply that same depth to the bottom of that key support level. And what that does is it creates your breakdown target. Historically speaking, this is about as far as it will go before you'll really start to see the bull step in and try to slow it down. And what you can see is that does make a lot of sense. If we were going to do a full breakdown of this double top that we're seeing right now, it would put us in perfect alignment with this previous point of resistance that we saw way back here in May of 2025 before the market started dumping. And so for me to think, okay, well, we broke through the golden zone, broke through the regional high, Fibonacci extended, and then broke back down to retest the previous point of resistance, try to flip it to support, it makes a ton of sense to me. I think it's a very reasonable thing to assume, especially knowing that people are taking profits and people are pulling out of the market as a result of course, the somewhat negative news that we got from the Fed over the last couple days. Now, is that me saying for sure that's what's going to happen, that the crypto market is going to just keep dumping all the way back down to 3.5 trillion? No, but I am saying it's probably the higher possibility. If I had to give this an odds, I'd probably give this a 60% chance of happening. And I know many people don't want to hear that, but to be honest, I'm not a YouTuber to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what I actually believe, because I'm not trying to confirm your bias. I'm trying to give you my actual perspective. And historical data shows that a pullback towards the $3.5 trillion level for the crypto market is very reasonable. Now, you may say, well, that's not that far, right? That's only, 6% or so. But the truth is that implies a multi-$1,000 move for Bitcoin, and it also implies 10 to 15% pullbacks for the altcoin market. So this definitely could be a more, dramatic pullback for the crypto market, but definitely not like the end of the world type of pullback, right? Now, all in all, that's kind of where we are with the crypto market. I think it's well within reason that we could see Bitcoin and the altcoin markets continuing to trend downwards as we continue to see the total market cap try to push towards these lower levels. What I will say is, though, we do have a bit of a saving grace. There's two saving graces in this scenario. Saving grace number one is the $3.67 trillion level. Okay, and I'm not at the good news yet. We're still in the bad news, by the way. I'm not at the good news yet. But the saving grace is number one is that we have this key level of support right here. This is the first take profit, or the second take profit level I told you about, the 1.272 Fibonacci extension level. This is a very important zone of support. And what you can see is that as we've gotten down to it, the crypto market is kind of stalled here. And if the crypto market can use this support level at 3.67 trillion to break back up towards say 3.75 and get above this previous point of support, not flip this into resistance, we could be in a situation where this could be a fake out that leads us back upwards. That is possible. It will be hard, but it's possible. So this is the first saving grace. The second saving grace is the fact that this market is extremely heavily manipulated, and there are a lot of liquidations building up to the top side. Look at Bitcoin on the one-day charts as an example. There's now over $4 billion worth of liquidations, with over $3 billion of those being if Bitcoin just goes back to $119,000. So if we see this crypto market barely bounce back upwards, we are going to see a lot of short traders get liquidated, which of course could be a perfect thing that this market needs to get back up there. The people who manipulate these markets know that a lot of people will get forced out of their positions if the crypto market does push higher. So that might be the very thing that they need to be like, oh, gotcha, just kidding, and then push this market back to the upside. So we have a massive level of support that we're at right now, and there are a lot of liquidations building up above us, which could force this market back upwards. Those are our two saving graces. But if we start to see both of those fail, right, the support level failing, this market not going up to manipulate those people, because obviously there are still liquidations below us, especially on the 30-day here. If that is the case, yeah, I think this crypto market continuing this pullback towards these lower levels is well within reason. But again, that's the bad news. I do have good news. The good news here is that although the crypto market is showing signs that it could very easily pull back to the downside, I have a lot of confidence and a ton of conviction that even if that does happen, the crypto market will be able to return back to these gains sometime this year. I think in this year that we're in right now, whether we see interest rates cut or not, we will still be able to see this crypto market try to rally. And the reason that I say that is because even as this pullback is happening, many of our indicators are resetting extremely quickly. Look at the 4-hour RSI. It is almost completely reset to the sub 30 level, which is usually where it needs to get before big moves can happen. I mean, look at this, right? Look what happened in these periods whenever the RSI would get to this oversold level. We saw a little pump right here, a big pump right here, and a really big pump right here, all after that 4-hour RSI hit that 30 level, which it is getting very close to now. And so even if the crypto market does continue downwards, this is just going to get more and more and more oversold, which should open up the door of opportunity for much much bigger gains towards the top side. Another key indicator that I am looking at right now is what we are seeing on our Bollinger Bands on the dailies. What you can see is that the daily Bollinger Band has now hit the bottom side of the Bollinger Band envelope right here for the very first time since right here. The last time we hit the daily Bollinger Band, we saw a massive pump. And I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen right here because it didn't right here. But what I am saying is that even if we do trend downwards a little bit here in the altcoin and the Bitcoin, like Bitcoin and the altcoin market, the crypto market in general, I still do think that some sort of move upwards can happen. So the bad news is that, yeah, we might continue to break down. But the good news is that the further we go, the much more likely it's going to become that some big rally could happen soon thereafter, which makes that more of an opportunity than a discouraging event, right? So as a result of this, knowing that the crypto market might continue to pull back, but it's very likely that we will try to find some support and continue back upwards, my current strategy is to actually start throwing some of my cash back in the market. What I decided to do earlier this morning was I did buy Bitcoin in many of my top alts like ETH, XRP, Solana, SUI, XLM, HBAR, and a couple more. And the reason why I did that is because, one, I think that the crypto market could rally out of nowhere at any given point, the lower it goes, but two, I'm sticking to my strategy. When it comes to Bitcoin specifically, I told you what my strategy was. I'm going to buy anytime that Bitcoin is in the dark green or the light green zone, buying more the lower it goes, and I'm going to take profits anytime it bounces to the top side. And I'm going to do this over and over and over again until Bitcoin either breaks to the downside or the upside of this descending channel, at which point I will adjust my strategy. And so knowing that Bitcoin's prices fell into the bright green zone, well, guess what? I'm just going to do some buying. The 4-hour RSI is oversold. We're seeing the Bollinger Bands on the 4 hours extremely overextended to the bottom side. So I think there's no reason as to why Bitcoin can't try to bounce back up towards the black zone, at which point I will take a little bit of profits off the table. So when it comes to Bitcoin, the added incentive for me purchasing is just the fact that I'm sticking to my strategy of buying now that we're in the bright green zone, and I'll try to take profits if when we try to make a move back up towards the black zone up here. Now, when it comes to my altcoins, the purchase that I did make today was a little bit smaller, and that's again because if you look at Total 2, for example, Total 2 is following suit. Total 2 also had the double top. Total 2 is also breaking down. And so the altcoin market very well might try to continue a good bit lower. So although I'm doing a little bit of buying right now because I think there is an opportunity for growth at some point, I'm not doing a lot because I think I will be able to get better buying opportunities in the future if this thing does continue to trend downwards back to say 1.3 trillion, 1.27 trillion, now that it's back in the golden zone, okay? So for altcoins, I am doing smaller purchases. I am focusing the majority of the money I invested today into Bitcoin, but I am doing some nonetheless because I still do think there's areas of opportunity there. And I still do think Bitcoin is going to get beat by the altcoins in the macro picture. I think although this might have just been a temporary pullback and Bitcoin dominance might spike from here, I still think the macro vision is that Bitcoin dominance will continue lower over the long term. And I would actually be pretty shocked if Bitcoin dominance climbs back above this previous point. So for me, I still do think that Bitcoin is in control of the market, but it's definitely losing that grip on the market. So I am going to rotate still into some alts as I am doing my accumulation. So that's that. What is happening right now? The market's responding to macroeconomic events. What am I doing right now as a result of it? I am doing some small purchasing, but I am vastly aware that what might come next is a continued pullback towards the downside as Bitcoin continues through this descending channel and the total market cap itself does possibly try to retrace back towards some of these key resistance points. And so what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to sit back, watch dollar cost average the lower that it goes and expect some sort of recovery the lower that it goes and stick to all of my main strategies. And outside of that, I'm not doing much else. The purchases that I made this morning were not on leverage. I'm not feeling very confident in leverage trading right now because the obvious sign is that it would get, the crypto market would pull back. That seems like the obvious thing. But whenever we do start to see all of these liquidations building up, I know those lizard people are licking their eyeballs and they want to liquidate these people. So that is likely going to cause for some sort of weird volatility, and I just don't want to be a part of it. So I am just going to pull back on the leverage and just trade this thing like normal, simple scalp trades, simple swing trades. So that's where I am with all of this stuff, guys. Please don't forget that in addition to these sorts of videos that I post on my channel, I also post on my Instagram every single day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shorts and reels going over things like Doge, SUI, Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto news, typical education and stuff like that. So if you do want to follow me on Instagram, it is TylerHillYT_. That link is down below. And again, don't forget, if you are trading some crypto, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses with that link in my description down below. But overall, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy these quick updates, and I hope they are essential and helpful to your daily planning and strategy and analysis. And if that is the case, please do let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.